Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, grasshoppers. I am losing my voice, so it's a good time for me to head off to Singapore. After all, I will be on the plane for a couple of days in theory. The first game has begun. It is a French defense with f4 on the fourth move, 5, knight on c to e2. I have a lot of work to do today to get ready for the travel. Make sure that I have everything I need to stream while I'm there, crossing my fingers that it's possible, that I'll be uninterrupted. But of course, these events will be happening during the games, apparently. So either I change the time of these arenas, or I don't. That is the question. Let's broaden our board just a little bit here. In honor of Gukesh, I'm going to play e4. I didn't need to play e4. I probably should have played something else. Well, that's interesting. I'm just going to continue developing my pieces. Grab space. We have a little bit of a King's Indian-esque position occurring. Let's see if my opponent is ready for said transpositions. But I'm a big believer in space and time. Bishop to b5 also probably gave me a time advantage. Bishop d7 though. Really? Wasn't that interesting? Takes, 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 takes. Let's undermine the e5 pawn. Since it appears to be underminable. Fascinating. Now, is it time to wrap up that side of the board? It looks like everything is somewhat forced. Interesting. What in the world is going on? Check, check, check. I do somewhat want that king out in the open. Am I threatening mate yet? Doesn't completely appear so. Short work. Try not to talk too much since we're losing our voice. Need 7 more knight c3s. I could have probably reached my same objective with knight c3 on the first move. I did want a window for Gukesh. I don't know who has what. St. Louis, FIDE, Chess.com. FIDE has Judith Polgar and Daniel Naroditsky. The game has expanded somewhat on the king side as on the white side. Basically, I just want to check the master's database. I am fairly familiar with this particular line. This is a favorite line of Vishy Anand from his youth. And Judith Polgar has also played it to beat Nigel Short, from what I recall. Let's just see if those games appear in the bottom right. More Anand games, as he played this quite often in his youth. It should be expected. Duda versus Magnus Carlsen. So Magnus Carlsen on the black side. Now it's taken an independent turn. This is Judith Polgar's white against Hicham Hamduchi. And the game has, after the move A4, clarified just a little bit. Judith Polgar versus Hicham Hamduchi still in effect. Bishop E3, however, is a different move. Only played once in the Lee Chess Masters database. Judith Polgar played G4 straight away, so maybe it'll transpose. No transpositions as of yet, but possibly after Queen to B6. No. Let's go with Judith Polgar's G4. And Hamduchi opted for releasing the tension in the center with C takes D4. And after C takes D4, H5 was not so good for Walter Becker. but bishop to b4 check, simplifying, one would think, but the king goes to f2. And Judith Polgar played this position quite a bit. Let's return to our regularly scheduled arena, as we will be revisiting the World Championship periodically. What's going on with my Kleenex? I'm getting shards. Hopefully it's not defective. Nico Demonius. Yesterday, Nico was the inspiration for another great game where I told my opponent that he was winning.
Said, hello there.
I want to thank you for the postcard in person. I don't know that I've seen you since it arrived. I mentioned it, and I meant to put it in the Discord. I definitely took a photo of it. I don't necessarily know if I put a photo of it in the Discord. It was a couple weeks back. It is a beautiful postcard. It is on our wall of world champions at the moment in the chess lab. This road wants me to bring home one of our posters of all the world champions, but I'm not entirely sure that I wish to do that. Olaf Gunter. How's the family, Nico? So against d4.
Nicodemonius said, I'm glad it arrived.
I need one c5.
Said, all is good THX.
I have to admit that the security delivers the email. We're going to play the Agincourt defense here. We're playing the Agincourt defense here. I think I could have held out with knight f6. I'm losing my voice, so don't mind me. Now that I am castled, what in the world is going on now?
Nicodemonius said, what's up with the format? Are we playing arenas now?
We are playing some arenas, yes, unfortunately. Can I do it that way? Do I just want to take the queen? During the holidays, I decided to abbreviate the schedule a little bit, Nico, because I was not able to get up in time to start the Swiss systems, and with a limited number of games, I feel like it wasn't fair to start the arenas or the Swisses a little later so that I could get up later and have fewer rounds, yada yada yada. It just got a little ridiculous to try to run a Swiss system blitz. So the arena blitz format is actually quite fitting. So I have the arenas on the weekend in order to accommodate I feel like I should change the format from birthdays to the World Championship to honor the day Game One. I just need to know if that's really an option.
Nicodemonius said, wow, only 37 points difference.
I've met my low, actually. So you should overtake me in no time. Yes. Can I go that way? I don't think I can. See if I can determine where you are headed, sir. Yesterday I had one of my classics where I told my opponent that he was winning. And of course, the most ridiculously lost position that I ever could have had. And I had to uncork after I won. I had to uncork your quote. Can I do it that way? We can do it this way. And now for something completely irrelevant. Let's see, piece coordination. Still a priority. Piece coordination still a priority. Guess I don't have a choice. I have to play it this way. I'm not a big fan of closing these lines. And now for something completely indifferent. So he didn't play queen to d6. So I was somewhat expecting. Piece coordination. Yes. That doesn't help me. Mm-hmm. Is it? Can I do that? Oh, wise guy. Oh, did you make it out of here alive, sir? Oh no. Can I do it? I can't do it. I can't get away. No. Oh, I can't go there. I can't believe you did this to me, Nico. Nicely done. Classic. Classic, classic defense. If I'd have taken with the knight on e8, was that an option? Congratulations, Nico.
Nicodemonius said, that wasn't he planned obviously.
No, I didn't have enough foresight to see that you had the sacrificial rook. Otherwise, I'd have taken on e8 with the with the knight. I don't know that I could have, but I think it was winning still. That was crazy and good. Everyone should be watching the FIDE World Championship. Also, FIDE does have. Good morning, Faubourg. Against knight f3. Hold on, that was a c5. I believe I'm done with the c5s against d4. I did one g4. Against knight f3. I don't have anything written down. But I'm hoping that I need a g6. No matter what happens right now, I need a g6. Oh no! D4 was almost required there, Faubourg. Can I? Less than 37 points difference. Is this true? What is going on in this position? F4. F5. Knight C7. Alright, I'm going to cross my fingers that I don't get completely walloped here. This is the idea, anyway. Interesting. Yeah, I did sack the exchange, but he didn't take it, but it was pretty treacherous, as I was taking back with my king, and I was playing knight e5, and my bishop, and my rook, and everything were really going to be coming in. As white, I do need an f4. Let's get an f4 in. Maybe we'll get one more g4 in. The Agincourt reversed. The Agincourt attack. Let's go for it. Well, that's interesting. I don't have much of a choice.
Nicodemonius said, BTW, you could have won in our game even after 1 rupee. Stockfish says, just keep your king close to the center until you can block my check with your knight.
When I was on that side of it, yeah? Fair enough. Fair enough. I panicked when I saw that what you had. Yep. Then your f-pawn can move, but it still looks a little sketchy. But you have king g8 too, that's true. Where in the world are you headed, sir? I'm gonna pretend like you didn't do that to me. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, it was probably a pretty good move. But I don't have it, do I? Oh, fine. And do we have it again? Just a little extravagant, don't we think? What happened to our sound? Our sound is gone. Ah, it's turned down. That's what's going on. In the classroom, the sound had to be turned down. How are we doing, Nico? 29, 38 points difference. Is that correct? No, you are catching up with me. My old age, your youthful enthusiasm, you should overtake me. So that was one F4. Who is in the waiting hall? Bide Giannis? Olaf Gunther? Olaf, are you in the mix? Olaf is paused for some reason. I wanted to give Folberg a shout out, so it must be FWHO. There we go. We found him. Folberg for stepping into the pool with the piranhas. Let's see what's going on here. One more time on the recap. It was an E5 Steinitz Defense French classical variation with one of the original Steinitz moves, not on C to E2. And this is our position. And the position is relatively equal. As usual. As usual, the position is relatively equal. Currently going on, I really want to think about renaming our Should I erase Casper? I'm afraid that I don't want to erase Casper. Is this game one? Let's do it. Copy URL. If I go in here, and we'll check it. I'm going to try putting this in here. For the URL. World Championship 2024 Game 1. World Championship 2024. Gukesh. Ding-Gukesh. Ding should be mentioned first. We'll check out the link. Oh, there it is. We can actually see it in a hurry. Let me see that one again. And then we can do tomorrow for Game 2, and we'll leave our birthday arenas intact. Since it's happening during the event. Oh no, we didn't change our stream title either. Let's do that.
Nicodemonius said, pawn checkmates are always a pleasure. Maybe someday I'll get an passant mate or even a castling mate.
Even a castling mate? We'll change our stream title. Oh, we kind of keep the Monday through Friday. Just because it's real.
Nicodemonius said, who are you rooting for this time?
I'm rooting for Ding, the old guy in reality, but I would like to see a change of country in owning the World Championship one more time. Also because I think that all of the young Indian players may have a chance to win the World Championship. And because all of them are going to win the World Championship, I have this sneaking suspicion that if Gukesh does not do it this time, he might not get another chance to do it. So as white, we've done f4, knight f3. We need one more g4 to get it up to 5, I believe. So we're going to try to get everything up to at least 5.
Space said, oh no, not
Towels in space. How about the double fiend, Keto? Bum bum ba-da-dum bum bum ba-da-dum. I don't know what I did that for. Can I do it? Where is that knight going?
Towels in space. Said. You win anyways, you can do whatever you want.
Ha ha ha. It was very kind of you to think so. However, I do not believe that for 1 minute. What? Gonna keep a handle on restriction. If at all possible. I like these cinematic options here. Uh-oh. Can I do it that way? May I do it that way? Towels in Space. You have such a great name, man. You have the name. Alright, I'm afraid. So this is the first time I've gotten more than 5 games in. It does help to be here from the start. So game 1, info. I like that link. Link on left. Such a nice even game. This is a battle. Never say draw. You have Datka, 81. Can I do it that way? No, huh? The thickness of the white squares. Pardon my language for whistling. Chess. Bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes. Oh no. This could be bad, or it could be good, depending on how you look at it. Depending on how you look at it. Two outside passed pawns versus one central pawn. Is that the problem? Takes, takes. Trying to coordinate these pieces. Never, ever easy. Finally. Weakness 101. Fortunately, my second rank is covered. Namaste, Nico. Namaste. Are you teaching your daughter to play chess? I'm trying to remember if you had two. I definitely know that Chris only has one. But I'm like getting everybody confused when I haven't seen you in a long time. I apologize immensely. All right, game one.
Nicodemonius said, "Yep,
there are two of them. A boy and a girl, right. In fact, when Chris came in, I had to clarify that he only had the one daughter. It's pretty good. This is normally my alarm for leaving. I don't know how to turn off my alarms on my phone. Absolutely do not. In any event, we have very few to transfer over. But if we are going to transfer anyone over...
Nicodemonius said, "Turns out 3 years old are really bad at chess."
Yeah. You should get them the... I was actually trying to think... Uh-oh. What's that? Hats off already? Oh no, I have to refund... 2 days ago, I was under the weather, and I was wearing a very bad hat day. So I have to refund. Good morning, Paul. I have to refund Ron Hay for hats off. Because I wasn't able to take my hat off the other day. It's no good if I can't do what my rewards want me to do.
Paul E. said, "The clock on your layout shows 7:02.
Oh no, that is incorrect. It is actually 6:02. Thank you for that notification. Let's take a look and see if I can get to that clock. We can at least fix that. No. Timer, no. No. Oh, there it is. New York time.
Nicodemonius said, "Some shenanigans with winter daylight saving time." Paul E.
Yes.
said, "I'm good at noticing things like that, not so good at noticing things when I play chess."
But still says 7:03. What in the world is gonna... How does this thing change? Refresh browser. Streamlabs.com overlay, yada yada yada. I'm going to have to actually go to the Streamlabs overlay and click in. New York Time, the overlay, apps, or widget. All widgets.
Paulie.
Or I may have to just insert it again.
I have had 5 bad tournaments in a row. If I have another bad one on December 7th, then I will take a break from chess. It has become more stressful than enjoyable.
Ah, that is the battle. Can you keep it enjoyable rather than stressful? That is truly the battle. I believe that you can, though. View count, top ticker, stream labels, all widgets, all platforms. Where is it? Nope, that's not it. Stream labels. Where in the world? End credits. I don't know where to find this time to fix it, but I don't think I'm going to be doing it on stream. Meanwhile, Ding-Gukesh in a roughly equal position with only 36 minutes left on the clock. It's getting exciting. Will we be able to follow it through? That is the question. General settings. Back to dashboard. Alert boxes. All widgets. I believe it's a widget. But how to get the widget updated is the question. All right, let's do it this way. Streamlabs. Local time widget. I don't see it. I really don't see it. So what's happening here? The pace is picking up. Bishop to d7. Are we still in the Lee Chess database? No. Indexing 101 other players first. I have to see what this browser URL is. Streamelements.com. Control A, Control C, Control V. Oh, I have to lock in.
Nicodemonius said. Seems like it would be easier to move to Caracas or St. John's than to change time on stream.
Indeed. Streaming tools. Overlays. Clock widget. I definitely have found the general area. Yes, I have found the clock widget. Settings. Greenwich Mean Time minus 4 hours. And now, save. And how do we copy overlay URL? Oh, I don't have to update it anymore. It automatically changed it. Thank you, Paul. All right, we move back in time.
Said, oh sorry, don't go to St. John's, it's 7:40 there, not 7:10.
A half an hour, eh? That's very unusual. Do we dare stick it out for this World Championship
Holly
match?
Said, at least I did something useful today.
You definitely did something useful. We need more coffee, though. That much is true. So what do we think White's next move will be? Before I look at the engine, which I am tempted to do, I just have a feeling that we have to watch out for our queen getting trapped on that side of the board. So if basically queen to b3, knight takes e5, bishop a4 traps our queen. f5 hangs the e5 pawn, so queen e2 is a logical move. But is this pawn overworked on c3? How are we going to get our rooks into the game? Another key question. How is White going to get his rook on a1 into a position of usefulness? Can we attack with f5? Will we be able to attack with f5? Do we need to remove White's worst or best placed piece? This is definitely Black's best placed piece. I'm sorry, Black's best placed piece. Does he need to worry about our best placed piece? We have more where that came from, so you can't really get rid of our best placed piece. I feel like White is a little better here. The indicator says that it's roughly level, which is very kind of them. Are we threatening b5 at all? I don't think so. b5, b6, then knight discovery with the help of this bishop. Which could be met by knight e3. Counterattacking the queen, queen e2. Queen takes e6 actually is possible because the knight won't be on c6 then. I really like this cinematic Baldur's Gate, or Baldur's Gate, depending on what Scandinavian country you're from. So getting back to the beginning of this game, this was a Wow, it claims that I'm at 2410 right now with e4, so I'm good. I got my one e4 in for the day. We're at 5 d4s. Knight c3 is at 3. Knight f3 is still at 4, according to this. f4 is now at an even 5, which is correct. e3 is at 3. c3 is at 7. I'm trying to round them all off to 0. b3 at 5. g4 should be at 5. Yes. d3. Rounded off evenly. Don't need it on the list anymore. Shouldn't even appear. g3 at 2. h3 at 6. And a4 at 1. So in any event, in this particular how many times have I played it? I've never played... I rarely play f4, actually. I have a 64% winning ratio here with the white pieces by just playing knight f3. But I have played f4. And I have played knight f3. But knight on c to e2 is one of the main lines that I learned when I was very young. Take my one-a-days here. $128 players first. I'm a little worried that my e4 was not finalized. Or bad. So as it turns out, was there a way of stopping him from getting this beautiful square, this beautiful outpost square c4? Good question. So, essentially, in this particular instance, our candidate moves for white. Let's do it. Coffee. Yes, thank you, sir. Nice badge you have there. Are you a black belt? 2-year subscriber. 33 months. I love that black belt, Paul 1E4. I'm sure that you appreciate it as well. That was done by Jalakai. We really do need to work on your motivation here, Paul. Nico Demonius. Who are you rooting for? Paul. What do you think, buddy? Who's going to win?
Paulie said, Zalakai hasn't streamed in a long time. I think he retired from streaming.
I hope he's doing okay. I heard a report that he was doing okay, that he had a new job.
Paulie said, I think Yuksh will win because Ding is in bad form.
Yeah, I think that Ding Loren has been doing a Shakespearean I Claudius the whole time, making everybody think that he's in bad form. He's been collecting his World Championship appearance fees and just showing up and just pretending like he's no threat to anyone, just like he did to some extent on his route to becoming world champion in the candidates. Nobody really thought that he was going to finish second. Nepo was running away with it. Nobody even put two hoots into finishing second because the world championship was up in the air, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. I think Magnus Carlsen's gambit paid off. We could have had a guy who was playing. I'm trying to remember the name of the video game that the gamer streams that Nepo does. What is Nepo's game? Hearthstone? We could have had a Hearthstone world champion. Would that have been incredible or what? Singapore, coming up. I do need to use a little bit of the time this morning in cleaning up my area before I go.
The players should have known that second place might be important. There were rumors that Carlsen wouldn't defend his title.
Yeah, but it's hard to motivate your play itself for second place. I agree with you. I don't even know what was going through Hikaru's mind when he tossed away that game. Right? Did he not respect Ding? I can't even imagine. Alright, we've looked at it long enough. I was looking at Queen E2. I was also considering Queen to B3, which loses almost immediately to Knight takes E5 and Bishop A4, but not quite. We always have a way to go back, so we're not losing completely. So maybe there is a threat.
Said Hikaru made a bad decision to take the draw against Nepo.
Yeah. That's true. You really needed to take him down at the knees. Alright, and the winner is Knight to D2, removing Black's best placed piece. That is the winner. I did not consider it heavily enough. I did consider removing Black's best placed piece. King H1, I don't think I would have considered. Queen E2 is here. Queen E2, Knight takes D4, Knight takes D4. Knight to B2. That makes sense. Alright, so we got our assessment. It is so dead equal in the first game of the match. So Gukesh is going to get 2 whites in the first 3 games, and Ding is going to be white when I arrive in Singapore for game 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to see Ding layer in with the white pieces in 2 games. I'm going to cross my fingers that they are in a fighting mood. I don't really know what the rules are. But yeah, Hikaru made a bad decision to take the draw against Nepo. See if I have the block on that one. Alexa, turn on Dojo. The candidates match book from 2021. That was the one that decided Nepo was going to challenge Carlsen. But was there a book on the candidates match? Was there a book on the candidates match for 2023? That is the question. They require some research. Was there a book on the candidates tournament? And it was held in Spain, right? Candidates chess tournament. Spain 2022. Book. Let's just type that into the search and we'll see what happens. I don't see a book on that one. B-Day Candidates 2022. Chess openings. Did no one write a book on that? And how fast can we pump it out? The path that Ding-Gukesh took. Right? Ding meets Nakamura in the final round to finish in second place. From one of my favorite So yeah, knight to d2 is the move that we did not really see coming, but I think he'll find that. Knight d2 is a tough move to play. After knight to d2, if knight takes d4, bishop takes d4. It's such an equal position, right? We're trying to bat our heads against the wall looking for an advantage. How can it be done? Queen e2 was the fifth best move in position, but they were all 0.0. What was the last game played in this variation? I think bishop e3 was the new move. Previously, a3 and g4 were played. G4 was played by Judith Polgar. And Hicham Hamdoushi against Judith Polgar played c takes d4, I believe. Yeah, c takes d4. Sergei Volkov also played. Oh, Sergei Volkov played a3. So if a3 is played, do we reach our current position? Good question. So bishop e3, g4. Ah, well, that's a hard one to reach. the queen already on a4, a5. What is Gukesh going to do? That is the question. And this is not the battle of the chairs as Ding versus Nepo was, right? It was so cold, I think, in the playing hall that they bundled up wearing coats and parkas, and they were off stage. So in this particular World Championship, it's very warm there. Alexa, what is the temperature in Singapore right now? She answer. Alexa, volume up. Alexa, what is the temperature in Singapore right now?
Right now, in Singapore, it's 82 degrees Fahrenheit.
A lovely 82 degrees, perfectly acceptable for a wintertime temperature, right? It's going to be crazy. Nakamura beat Duda in the second to last round of the candidates in 2022. And Nakamura took a Berlin draw in 14 moves against Nepo, third to last round. Rajabov won in 26 moves. That's craziness. In the link that I just provided a moment before, Nepo was already in first place, so he was not in any risk throughout the last so many rounds, but it was really that half point between Nakamura, Rajabov, and Ding-Gukesh that really decided it. 8 points. Earned second place. 8 points was again second place this year, I believe. Not much is happening in this particular position, I have to admit, right? It's a tough call. We're looking at what enabled Ding-Gukesh to become the challenger to the World Championship, and how many of his games are in the book. See how many of these games made it into this volume. We also have the Gukesh by Lakdawala, World Champion 2023. So they are covering game 6, game 4. They're not covering every game. Game 3, game 2. Challenger. This may well be my reading material for today. The best of Ding-Gukesh. It is already very impressive. That he's made it this far. I, Claudius, that's my theory. I'm going to call him I, Ding-Gukesh, as he pulls off a Shakespearean-like comeback. He is not going to be counted out at all. He kept the game under control with a French defense, and he did not lose heart by any means. He did not lose heart by any means. See what goes on here. "48 minutes. He's been thinking for quite some time. Can probably take the arena off of. Oh, he just made a move. And he chose my move, Queen E2. Yes, he did. He chose my move, Queen E2. Perfectly logical move. Avoiding exchanges. Reinforcing E5. I also predict that he may play for Bishop to E3 or King H1 in an effort to play for F5. So far I'm batting 1,000 because Queen E2 was my move. That was pretty fast. We do have to recapture with the knight. Or we can recapture with the pawn and maybe we can get F5 in. I'm sorry, the bishop. Moment of truth here, everyone. Are we recapturing with the bishop? I believe so. I believe we have to recapture with the bishop and keep the restraints on black's position. The knight was doing nothing on that square if it undermines the protection of E5. So bishop takes D4 will be next. What else can he play? C takes, loses a pawn. Knight takes, we felt it's less effective because the knight doesn't have a future with this pawn unguarded. Black may even be able to break open the center in this manner or G5. So therefore bishop takes D4 is the only move left. We'll check the engine. Anyone else want to contribute to this one? Alright. Bishop takes d4 is met by h5, and knight takes d4 is met by knight to b2. Our queen relocates to f3, and the rook goes to c8. There's pressure on c3. So bishop takes d4, h5. Attempts to undermine the pushing of this pawn. What else could Ding-Gukesh play? Yeah, h5 seems logical. This also seems very logical. This was not played, everyone. By any means, this was not played. This, however, was played. And knight takes d4 was played after my thought of queen to e2. And Gukesh has not yet answered, but I have a feeling it's going to be bishop takes d4. h5. Do we have to worry about bishop to b5 for any reason? I don't think so. This pawn on a3 is going to become a permanent weakness. There's no doubt in my mind that pawn on b3 is going to become a permanent weakness.
Now Erds said, "Hello there, I see we are covering the WC today."
We are covering the WC. No words. How are you, Mon? Great to see you. I have to check out your badge. You are a brown belt. Got it. I was noting that we have a few black belts floating around.
Now Erds said, "With more training I will get my black belt."
Indeed, I really appreciate you, No Words. Thank you for being here. Yeah, we are trying. I was mentioning that I believe, and this was my own theory, that Ding-Gukesh has been ducking everyone for a year and a half in a Shakespearean I, Claudius routine. For those of you who have not known the Shakespeare play featuring Claudius, is basically the character Claudius has everyone think that he is not aware of what's going on, that he is not capable of understanding what's going on. Meanwhile, he is the mastermind behind the entire kingdom. And he knows exactly what he's doing. And it is also the plot of Usual Suspects. Another spoiler alert. If you've seen The Usual Suspects, Ding is playing the character of... Hold on, I'm drawing a blank. Kevin Spacey's character. Verbal Kent. Yes. Verbal Kent. Basically.
Now Erds said, "Why not knight takes d4?
Knight takes d4 has a strange, interesting idea in that after knight takes d4, knight to b2 puts pressure on this pawn. Queen f3, rook c8. and it just gets a little awkward to defend c2. But also, the other reason I didn't like knight takes d4 was because if we are going to try to play the move f5 in the near future, then we're also going to need to support the pawn on e5 with bishop g3, perhaps even tuck away our king onto h1, and it takes a lot more time with knight takes d4. However, the knight is more valuable on d4, and black's machinations with knight to b2, bishop to b5, getting into these squares perhaps if he can. I don't know if they're worth it. But yeah, both words, I should really be resting my voice. And once again, Gukesh is running down his own clock in order to find the right move. In any event,
Now Erds said,
bishop takes
the
d4 is
question
met
is,
by
can white defend
h5.
c3? If he can't, then it's really bad for white.
Yeah, well, we know that the position is assessed as double zeros. So definitely a 00 license to kill type position. Either player, it's anybody's game right now. These guys are flipping a double-sided coin. They each have their own double-sided coin in their pocket. Which coin gets to be used last is going to be the game that the coin that decides the match, or this particular game. Hypnosis, everything that Dinglerin needed to get ready for this match, he has had available, been made available to him. I did guess correctly the previous move, Queen e2, although the best move in the position was probably knight to d2, removing black's best placed piece. And even in that particular situation, knight takes would have been met by bishop takes, and it would have been a direct transposition. So after queen e2, we can almost see that he has to commit himself one way or the other, with bishop takes d4.
Now Erds said, wait, you...
Because he's offering a draw with the move knight to c4, queen e2, knight to b2. I don't know what the rules on draw offers and acceptance are. But this looks like a blatant offer of a draw, because he's also trying to get in the move f5. He needs to get the move bishop to g3 in as well. Is it once again time that since the queen's not on f3, that black can play h5? Right? I don't see any future in supporting this pawn further with a rook, because this rook would be rather passively placed here in most cases, unless we have some idea of doubling. But if so, then why don't we just go straight across to the side? Rook on a to e1. Ah, therein lies the tail. So now we have to consider rook to c1. If need
Now
be.
Erds said, test.
Pest indeed. Rook to c1. This is rather dry. Rook c1. Queen c4, trying to undermine the white squares. I don't know. Trying to simplify the position with queen d3. He also has the option after rook to c1, which I'm assuming is going to be played. Rook on a to c1. He can put more pressure on it if he'd like with knight a4. How long is the rook on h8 going to stay out of the game? That is the question. How long is the rook on h8 going to stay out of the game? So, there's no other really good way of defending this pawn because bishop e1 cuts off the communication between the two rooks. And without c3 available, I don't see how this rook can make it back into the game, like rook on a to e1. So let's see what could happen here. All right. Moment of truth. I'm very happy that everyone is staying with me. If we were to raid coverage, who would we go to? No words. I'm going to go to my friend David Howell. Who I've known since 2018. Wow. From London, 2018. Yeah, we're going to send everybody over there. Hopefully we have enough people to make it worthwhile. 3, 4, 5. We had 11
now
at one point.
Said. Bye Sensei. Now Erds.
Thank you, Paul.
Said. See you next time.
Indeed, no words. Thank you so much for being here. Let's just do the ending credits. We did change our follower goal. This also gives me a chance to rest my voice. And I'm very excited for Verbal Ding. Not Verbal Kent, but Verbal Ding. Alright, cheers and ciao everyone. Thank you very much. Have a great day.